Food security is enabling all inhabitants to have access to sufficient, safe, and nutritious food at affordable prices at all times. By 2050, we need to produce at least 50% more food. Lack of water will affect up to 5 billion people, and rising sea levels will cause mass migration to urban areas. For the UAE, these challenges will lead to an annual increase in food consumption by 12%, rapid water stress, and loss of biodiversity. The UAE aspires to become a world-leading hub in innovation-driven food security and has developed a nationwide strategy that facilitates agribusiness, enhances sustainable technology, reduces food loss and waste, sustains food safety and improves nutritional value, and enhances capacity to respond to emergencies. UAE initiatives include the Government Accelerators, a program to tackle challenges timely and effectively, Marine Innovation Park, a center of excellence in marine science and innovation, Nutrition Labeling Policy, a food classification system based on nutritional value, a Food Security Council to oversee all food affairs, a national nutritional guideline to improve the health status of all, and the Food Tech Challenge, a global competition for solutions across the food value chain. Everybody has an important role to play when tackling food security. Together, we can make a difference.
Good afternoon, everybody. So, we're talking about food, something we all love, something we all enjoy with our loved ones. So I wanted to take the opportunity today to give you some details and insights on what the UAE has done in the last 2 years. So, you know, we're really coming now to a stage, when you look at the numbers, we're heading towards the 9 billion people mark, and understanding that traditional agriculture can't keep up. So we've got a food gap that's growing year by year. Our leadership have foresight in their DNA, and so we're very much about understanding what are the global chores that we're not just food secure today, but also in future. With this in mind, I'd like to show you a few slides on what we've done as the Food Security Office. So UAE, as you all know, is a country that is, we've got the desert, we've got the sun, we are a water-scarce country, but over the years, or the last few years, the leadership have invested a lot in the infrastructure, in making the UAE a hub for food trade. And this is how we've gained our food security. So we import about 90% of our food, but we also understand that this dependency on imports is also something that we need to ensure that we're resilient in the future on some of the global challenges that will be could kick back at us for that dependency. So with this, first of all, what is food security? This is how I always start. I want people to understand, what does food security means? So when a country talks about food security, it says, I am ensuring that all the citizens, all the people in my country have access to safe, nutritious, sufficient, and affordable food at all times. So we talked a little bit about global challenges, population growth, climate change, water depletion, and of course, food loss and food waste. So these are some of the really pressing global issues when we look at the food security landscape. Now, His Highness, when he gave me the file, I told him there's two things we have to change. We have to change two systems. A lot of people are talking about disruption of food systems. For me, it's disrupting two systems. One, it's how we grow food, and the other one is us, how we're consuming food, what we're eating, what we're putting in the waste. So these are the two systems that we have to change, and this paradigm shift that we have to go through now will involve these two food systems. Not sure where to point at with the clicker. So, His Highness, when he appointed me, he said, Mariam, I need you to think of 3 things. I need a plan, I need you to adopt technology, and I need you to advance R&D. So these were the 3 streams that he wanted me to focus on. And so we did just that. So the plan is the National Food Security Strategy. We started first with understanding our food basket. What does the UAE consume? What are the main food items? And here you see the 18 foods that the UAE is focusing on, or that the UAE has in its food basket. And from that, we said, what are the foods that make sense to grow in the UAE that have a competitive edge, and what are the foods that we will still need to import? And with that, we developed the National Food Security Strategy. By the way, this is online, and anyone can download it from our website. And you'll have a whole, all the information on the KPIs of these directions, and of course, the enablers. What are the enablers needed for this strategy? We need the vehicle or the governance to be able to implement this strategy. And I'm very proud to say that just a few weeks ago, the Cabinet approved the Emirates Food Security Council, which we are leading, and we basically are bringing all the ministries and the local authorities of the UAE who have something to do with food to a council, and we'll be discussing all the laws and regulations when it comes to food, so that we take a holistic approach when we look at food. An R&D agenda, we're in talks with all our universities, our research institutes, to make sure that we're aligned into what priority areas will we look at when it comes to food security. Database is really important too. For any country to make any policies, you need correct data. Human capacity, another essential element. We need to start building the next generation for this sector. When I talk to the youth, I don't say I'm looking for farmers. I tell them I'm looking for agri-technologists. I need to make it cool for the young people to start looking into this sector. Food movement, this is all about changing behavior, our culture. I mean, being here a few days now in the UAE, I'm sure you've seen at some of the lunches and dinners, we love showing our love and our welcome with quantities of food. So we need to work on some cultural aspect and some behavior, and ensuring that not a lot of food goes to waste, and that it's okay to have an empty plate after you eat. So with that, let me tell you a little bit about what we've done in adopting technology. So His Highness was there when we launched, basically, I would say, a new ag-tech sector. What we did with this, and this is something that we'd love to share with anyone who's interested, we're a small office, but our stakeholders, especially the private sector, said, Mariam, there are a lot of barriers. We cannot develop ag tech as we'd like to see in the UAE. So I asked them, I said, what are these barriers? I'll give you an example. Setting up a high-tech greenhouse needs 5 or 6 licenses. Why don't we bring this down to 1 license? Or for a closed system farm, you need certain building codes. And the UAE, our economic department, doesn't know about these building codes. So we used the government accelerator, which is an initiative from the Prime Minister's office, and you use the space for 100 days, and you work with all your stakeholders, and you say, in the beginning, these are our barriers that we want to remove, and at the end, we will have solutions. So we did just that, and these are the 10 initiatives that we launched with His Highness Sheikh Mohammed bin Rashid, the Vice President of the UAE, Prime Minister and ruler of Dubai. So now you are actually seeing some ag tech in the UAE. We've got high-tech greenhouses growing tomatoes. We've got fish farms using RAS systems. We've got some vertical farms in the middle of the city. And I think in our panelists, you'll see some interesting examples coming from the UAE. A lot of people don't think that we're growing food in the UAE, but we are, and with the possibility of technology nowadays, it's become very competitive, or it's becoming commercially more viable to do so. Advancing R&D, I just want to share with you some announcements that have been made just in the last few months. So Abu Dhabi has rolled out a 1 billion incentive scheme for agri-tech companies. Also, Emirates Airlines has now done a joint venture with Crop One. They're building the largest vertical farm to cater for the needs of Emirates airline lounges. And also, His Highness the Crown Prince of Abu Dhabi has also announced 5.6 billion dirhams for R&D for water scarcity and food security. This is just to show you some of the steps that are being made to provide funding vehicles for R&D in ag tech. Also, a new research authority is now formed in Abu Dhabi, and these are the areas that they're focusing on now, and food security is one of them. So there are a lot of efforts being put now to advance R&D in the country. Some of the initiatives we announced in September, the Global Food Tech Challenge. I always tell people, food security is not just a government responsibility or private sector, it's also the community. So let's get the community thinking about solutions, whether it's from growing or at growing food level, whether it's preparation, whether it's at the household, whether it's processing, distribution, and what are the technologies that we can use at a community level, household level, or commercial level that can help us in hot environments such as the UAE and solving our global food problems. By the way, the Global Food Tech Challenge is still, so you can still apply until mid-February, so anyone who has any ideas, please apply. The nutritional labeling policy, these things were all shown on the video as well. This is adopted, it's similar to the UK system, where consumers can then make better choices when they're buying food. So we need to give, in order to make the community make better choices and take up better nutrition, we need to give them tools to make better choices. So the nutritional labeling policy is one of them. This was, again, I was talking about national capacity building. Wait, it skipped 1 second. So our students, or let's say our millennials, are really important to get them excited about the food security sector. One thing we try to do is make sure that women and students have some experience, or let's say get a taste of what work life will be like in the ag tech companies. So I couldn't go back to the slide, some technical issues, but what it is we joined with the Uae University in Abu Dhabi, and we brought in the ag tech companies in the UAE, and we basically said, students, these are your ag tech companies in the UAE. Please, we're doing the connection with them and you, so that you can, in your holidays, for example, or when you want to do some vocational work experience, you can have a look at which sectors you're interested in, whether it is production of fish or production of vegetables, and then go into these companies and understand what is work life like when you go and work in ag tech companies, so that they have a bit of a taster of what's going to come. And this is my final slide, just to show you with the efforts that we've done in the last 2 years. My team and I are very proud with our stakeholders. We've been able to move 10 notches towards our goal of becoming #1 globally in the Global Food Security Index. His Highness Sheikh Mohammed bin Rashid always likes us as ministers to connect ourselves with competitive indexes, just to make sure when we benchmark ourselves, we see how we are progressing. So we're happy to see in the last year that we made a good jump. So with that, I just wanted to share with you some insights of what the UAE has done in the last 2 years. And of course, we are very much about sharing this knowledge and sharing the expertise that we've gained in the last few years on this subject. And we're looking forward to working with you to not just help also us as a UAE for food security, but to become global players in the food security arena. Thank you very much. Thank you.